Okay. Mouse already dried. My mouth's already dry just thinking about it. I want to tell a story because of the hysteria with all these fucking drones and shit. Uh, we had a place up in Centerville, Texas, in between Centerville and Crockett, basically, on Highway 7. Then you drop down. It was in Leon County. We had as a deer hunting place. We kept the deer hunting rights, or leased it from the guy, because the people that rented the house no longer they weren't hunters, and it would supplement the income to them being able to afford the house. So the owner of the property didn't mind as long as the money came in. Who gave a shit? But uh, it was back when I think it was the second election for Bill Clinton, and it was the first time I could legally vote. So I went up there a couple of days in advance to get the place as clean as I could, because there was a trailer on there that somebody had left, like a sleeper RV kind of thing that you pull behind a truck. And I tried to get it as clean as humanly possible. I wasn't going to sleep in the son of a bitch. I slept in my own tent. But I was talking to my father on, this was back when flip phones, and not very many people carried flip phones, but I had one through my father's company. So he's like, "How's it going?" I said, "I got everything done." He said, "Did you vote?" "No, I didn't vote." He says, "Well, did you kill anything that morning?" I was like, "No," because I got up there in the morning before dark. Before sun up, and I hunted and didn't get anything. So my main job was to clean up for the two guys that were coming up in a couple of days. Get everything organized, cut down some trees for firewood, that kind of shit. And a little camp out kind of thing. But he said to go ahead and come back into Houston and vote, and I'll have dinner ready for you, and then you can go back up there and entertain these two fuckers and show them around and that kind of stuff. So I was driving south to Houston on 45, somewhere between Madisonville and Huntsville, and I noticed a helicopter on the ground in the media. It was the two lanes and the grassy area in between, and I thought, oh, it must be a really bad car accident. I'll pull over. And when I got out of the car, it really dawned on me real quick that it wasn't a helicopter, because there was no noise. And these two orbs were basically, I'm 6 foot. So they appeared to be about 6 feet in diameter, big around, basically as tall as I am. And they were about 5 feet off the ground. And one was red, the one on the left I believe was red, and the one, it's a bit foggy now, and the one on the right was a bluish green color. And I pulled in behind two cars. And the first car was like a Lincoln, or, four-door classic car. The second was, I think it was a red truck. And the first car were white people. He was a bit older. The girl was either a trophy wife or his daughter/granddaughter. I don't know what the situation was, but you could tell there was quite a bit of age difference and that they were white. The second guy was in the red truck, was a black guy, and he made me look small. I remember looking up at him and he was kind of a heavyset fellow, but very muscular. And I looked back up at the lights, and the weird thing was they were perfectly spheres, perfect spheres, but they were translucent. You could see right through them. And the red one was pretty much always stayed red, but the blue one, the best way I can describe it was it would go between blue and like a sea foam kind of color. It kind of green, but still blue. And I thought, that's kind of funny that helicopter is not making any noise, and there's no car accident, and there's no people on the other side of the road, and there's nobody coming or going. It's late at night. And I thought, something clicked right away that it wasn't, your mind's trying to come up with what it is. It's not a helicopter, it's not making any noise. There's these two orbs sitting there, and nobody's talking, and basically all of a sudden this green light appeared. And when I talk about a light, it's not like a light bulb or something like that. The first time I saw those cheap lasers where like you play with the cats or whatever, or draw on a board with it, or laser pointer on a board, the laser hit the object, but there was no light in between. You can put chalk or fog and see the laser beam, but there was nothing, the light, there was no source of the light. It was just everything it hit turned green. And it's like, I remember looking at my feet and seeing, wherever the light touched was green, but on the other side was nothing. It was like there was no light at all. And even the blades of grass, you could see the blades of the grass, but that the light was touching, but you couldn't see behind it. It wasn't like a beam of a flashlight. And I thought it was really weird. And then the objects went from being about 5 feet off the ground to 50 feet up, 50 feet, 50 yards is kind of hard to tell. But they went from where they were about 5 feet off the ground to about 50 feet off the ground, is the best way I can describe it, like in a blink of an eye. No noise. And I thought, okay. And this was before drones were even commercially available. And I don't know if I thought, did you just see that? Or if I spoke it out loud, I'm not sure. But the lights just went, they were here, now they're here. And then all of a sudden, these lights shot off in different directions. But it was fast enough to go from where they were to where they went. But the red one, the way I remembered it, the red one went to Dallas and basically north, and the bluish green one shot off to the south. But when they shot off at an angle, but they shot off with such incredible speed, it was just a blur. And I'm talking from dead standstill to here to gone. Choom. And I thought, okay. And I didn't really, the weird thing was we had just witnessed something that I've never seen, and I can't really explain it. The story doesn't do it justice. But we were like robots. We didn't talk to each other. We didn't discuss anything. We just simply turned around and got in our cars and drove off. I don't even remember in which order the cars drove off. My mind was just like frozen. And so basically I drive home, and by the time I drive home, my father's like, damn, you're so late. I've already put all the food away. And I just sat at the kitchen table, and he was talking to me, and he realized I hadn't said anything in quite a while, because he liked listening to the radio when he was in the kitchen. He's like, I'll make you a plate. And he got all the stuff back out and made a plate, didn't heat it up or anything, because I eat shit cold, and my mom didn't believe in microwaves at the time. So he put the plate of food in front of me, and he finally leaves to go to sleep, and he came back in there, and he's like, "Are you okay?" Da da da. And I snapped out of it. I'm like, "Yeah, what's wrong?" He's like, "Well, you haven't touched your food." "Oh, I'm not hungry. I just really want to go to sleep." So, I went to sleep and didn't think of anything of it. And I didn't tell anybody the story, for a while. But my watch, the old Timex, or the old watch movements, not the electronic watches we have now, but the movement on my watch was slowly but surely get slower. So I told my mom, "Hey, I'm dyslexic, so I always wanted to know what time it was and what date it was, even though you had to adjust the dates back then. Kind of like on the expensive watches today, you still have to." And I said, every once in a while, you can tell that every time when you set the right time, it goes by and it starts slowing down. And she says, "Oh, don't worry, we'll go to the mall and get a new battery in it." That's when everybody went to the mall back then. And, slowly but surely, I started telling her the story and told her, what had happened and the weird situation and everything, and the implant that was in a certain part of my body that wasn't there before, that absolutely had no scarring on it whatsoever. How can you suffer such a wound or an impact and not remember it? But we kind of just let it go, and she bought me a bunch of books about this and that, because she made me read about a lot of stuff. YouTube wasn't really a big thing then, or if it was, nobody really gave a shit. And so then we go on my we use my father's car, because I had used my father's car to go up there because Mom's car was newer. A few weeks later, my father had to go on a sales trip, so he chose his car, the old Bluesmobile, a Crown Vic blue car, and we had to go up north to do something in Oklahoma. And he's like, "Damn," and he's tapping the digital, or not the digital, but the analog clock on the car. And she says, "You know what?" He says, "You know what? For the last couple of weeks, every time I get in the car, I have to reset the time on the car, because time on your flip phone, he would notice it would slow down." And I just look at Mom, and Mom's sitting in the front seat, and Mom looked back at me, and she didn't say anything. And he says, "Okay, I've seen that before. Something happened. What happened? The car's fine. There's nothing structurally wrong with it. I've checked the fuses, did everything I could. What's the issue?" And the thing is, even though we put a new battery in the watch, my wristwatch, it never worked right. I bought an electronic watch at Academy, with those G-Shock from Casio. Can't remember people's fucking names, but I can remember the damn watch. And because the issue with the resetting the dates and it always getting slower, we just decided to go electronic, because it automatically did itself, and I had the money for it. And he says, "Okay." He says, "I knew something happened the day you were sitting there and you didn't eat anything, and you didn't go up there until the guys were there, da 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 da. You got done what you needed to get done. I need to know the story, because when I said that, I looked back in the rearview mirror and your eyes were as big as saucers. And you had this far off look in your eyes." So I told him the entire fucking story. The weird orbs, how they moved, that we never talked about it, the green light that it produced, that there was no source of the light, just the light was there. And his whole thing is, he calculated that I should have been home at least 45 minutes before I walked through the door. So there's 45 minutes plus that I can't remember. There's what I thought was maybe 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes of watching these lights and being there on the side of the road, and I'm over conservatively over at least 45 minutes late from being home. He even said, "Hey, did you get stuck in a traffic accident? You get stuck in heavy traffic this late at night?" I remember him saying that. And so I told, he told the story, and he's like, "Oh, well, strange shit happens. You'll never be able to explain it, da 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 da." But this thing about drones and UFOs, and I'm recording this so I can post in my YouTube channel, and I've always told the same story. These drones don't scare me. A lot of people are starting to talk about their UFO encounters. I never saw a UFO. The whole alien thing, that there's certain things that trigger, like I was watching an alien episode once and I couldn't eat mushrooms for years because it triggered some memory that for some reason I couldn't eat fucking mushrooms, and I always liked mushrooms, portobello mushrooms, mushrooms on pizza, I don't give a shit, but something about mushrooms triggered my ass to where I couldn't explain why I couldn't eat mushrooms. And we pretty much let it go, but I was watching a video and the guy was talking about how these drones that people are seeing and how they're mechanical and you can hear them. You can hear drones at high altitude. It sounds like there's a wasp or a swarm of angry bees. And now they've perfected the blade technology to where they're at such altitudes and the blades were turning, but it would be very difficult with the newer technologies to see or hear the drones, let alone see them. But the orbs that I saw, there's no way in hell they can be reversed U.S. Military technology or U.S. based technology or any foreign country technology. The drones that they're seeing, most of the videos I'm seeing, they're obviously computer generated or from a drone show, or there's no audio to it, so people are freaking out, and people are starting to buy guns to shoot down these fucking drones, and so be it, whatever it takes. I believe in the Second Amendment, shoot the motherfuckers if you want to. But when I saw those lights, I had 2 guns in the car, and I never once thought about shooting it. And I had a flip phone in my pocket, and I think you could record like 3.5 minutes back then on a cell phone, or it must, because the first one you could only do like 30 seconds, and then like we thought, 3 minutes, why would you ever need 3-minute video? But I never once thought about pulling out my cell phone and taking a picture. It probably would have been just 2 blobs because the camera technology at the time. Never thought about shooting a video of them. It was like I completely shut down. I was watching these 2 objects, trying to put in my mind what they were, and it just, because you slowly but surely see the evolution of technology. You know what a fighter jet is. The moment you hear the fighter jet, you know what it is, and you'll hear it long before you see it. And you know what an airplane is, and you've seen the evolution of airplanes, so there's nothing new that you would never just, that's an airplane, that's a helicopter, What these were, I have never seen anybody produce anything that would be a plasma ball or ball lightning. The night was clear as all get out. There wasn't any thunderstorms. How you can have ball lightning and have 2 different colors, or 3, because it went from bluish to a greenish color back to blue. That was the only true movement I've seen. The red one kind of pulsed a little bit, and like reddish to an orange, but not enough to really make a difference. You saw more color change in the blue one, kind of like the marbles. When you look at a marble and you turn a marble, oh well, it's blue, but it's got green stripes in it or green colors in it. But a marble, you can clearly see through it because it's glass. These were 5 feet spheres that you could see through like they weren't there, but they were there. And the green laser light that shot out everywhere, and it was like, never once did I think of looking up for a mothership. And whenever they shot up off the ground, well, they never touched the ground. They were always about they were the same distance off the ground than they were in circumference, and basically about 5 feet. But they were here, then they were here, and then they were gone. So if it was anything mechanical, your mind would naturally know it's mechanical. If they were a drone, the best military drones that in the fucking world, these things couldn't do. You could never take if you were to put a human in that atmosphere and take a human and take it from here to here, it would scramble their brains. You know, like the car drivers that go around 500 miles an hour and slam into a wall, your brain becomes mush. And you didn't die from the impact, you died from your brain slamming against your fucking skull. And there's no way a human could survive a motion that fast. The skeletal or the brain itself would crumble, just to sheer physics. It's impossible for a living organism to be inside of what I saw based on what we know about physics. But everybody's freaking out about these fucking stupid drones. The mothership from Iran to nuclear waste from a hospital that has fallen off of a cargo ship, and all these fucking strange theories. But when you truly see something not of this earth, it will affect you in ways. It's not like, oh, there's a drone over there. You know, you always see drones flying over your house. And most of the time it's law enforcement testing for the heat coming off of your house so that they can get search warrants to see if you're growing pot. So I'm used to drones flying over the house. For several different times I've seen drones fly over the house. And you see these kids with these little toy ones flying around and shit like that. Nothing that I've ever seen in my life. And this was before I was 21. Because I don't think there was there was a pistol in the car, but I don't think I was 21, but I think I had a pistol. I might have been borrowing somebody's handgun, but I know I had a 270. I'm not sure if I had my pistol in the car yet, but it was one of those things. Yeah, I think my dad had bought the 357 under his name. I had a 6-inch 357 Magnum in the car, Smith & Wesson. And, but that's beside the point. But the thing is, all this CG and all this thing and all the government's plan, first they were going to use terrorism, then they were going to use biological, then they were going to use all this alien shit against us, and they released the video footage of those pilots and all this other shit. Don't freak out, because if these beings or whatever controls that level of technology wanted to eliminate us, they would, in ways we can't even fucking imagine. But stop freaking out over all these fucking drones. The government's doing what it's fucking doing for a fucking reason, and a drone getting stuck in a tree and pulsating a blue light, and then all of a sudden they go out there the next morning and they realize it's a mechanical drone. It did nothing that defied the laws of physics, and people are losing their fucking minds. But the people that have truly seen something that has defied the laws of physics, whether it went from underwater to above water, from above water underwater, or moved in such an erratic form that we could not survive or control or manufacture. When you see that level of shit, that's when you panic. But for the love of God, the stupidity about these fucking drones flying over everywhere. The military / police are flying their drones just to get people in a fucking uproar. And it doesn't take a 14-year-old in the basement to come up with a computer program to fly a circuit and then shut off the lights and fly home. And people are losing their fucking minds. When you see something you truly can't explain, that shit is when you should be worried. And the worrisome part about it is you won't be able to do a damn thing about it. And the loss of time, the loss of memory, the not moving, the entire time this happened, I don't think I ever moved once other than look down at my feet. And I can't tell you if I said something out loud or if I was thinking it at the time. But call me a nut, call me whatever you want, but that's the story of my UFO, unidentified flying object. Now they're calling them UAPs, unknown aerial phenomenon. But this stupidity with the fucking drone shit's gotta stop. It's the military and the police just doing stupid shit and cause a mass panic. And 200 assholes get the bright idea to snap glow sticks to their fucking drone and whiz by the tops of the trees. And people, oh my God, I saw a fucking drone. These things that I saw produced absolutely no light, no known form of propulsion, defied physics, produced light without an energy source. It was like the best way I can describe it was a Christmas ornament clear ball with a light in it that you couldn't tell where the light source was. So that's my UFO story, and for the love of God, with all this drone shit, just fucking let it go.